Greetings and salutations. I am Karen Rossmore and welcome to my channel. Yeah. I'm late because, well, yeah, I'm late. These things happen. But I am also late in getting my tea, so we're going to be talking for a little while I devour food. Hopefully you don't all hear too much of this, but hey, just so you know. Currently playing through Pillars of Eternity. I think I'm up to the stage of just pottering around and seeing where... basically last Tuesday I didn't feel up to it after being at the dentist, and then Thursday I was over on my cast room, so it's like a week since I last played, so I just arrived at Twin Elms, I believe. Not really talked to anybody there. I talked to the guard. On the front gate. But I think that's pretty much where I left it. So I'm going to be going in and speaking with a number of people there. I've just remembered that I totally forgot to do my go live shout out kind of things. So let's get them posted around in places. Nobody wants it. Go! And that one should have already happened. Yeah, that one's automatically happened. And and then copy this one, update the session number, and copy that over to the Twitter, because I need to do that as well. Voila! Okay, there we go. Right, that's a shout out's done. How's everybody doing in the chat? I've had, well, so one of the things I accidentally did the other day, and this is a bit of a content warning, injury, self-injury. It's not self-harm, I didn't mean to do it, and it's not like I was intending to do it. But yeah, so on Sunday night I was getting ready to go to bed, and it's like, oh, it's a bit chilly, I'll get a hot water bottle. Great idea. So I'm pouring in the water into the hot water bottle and spilled a little bit over my finger. Now, you probably can't see that one too much, but if it's gonna focus, that thing in there, just around where a ring would be, there's a slight red line. Because it dribbled over the edge and went all over that finger, and it was like, ow, that hurts. Okay, I need to get that on a cold tap quickly. So I transferred the hot water bottle from my left hand to my right hand. The only thing is, I did it spectacularly wrong and ended up basically squeezing the hot water bottle. It wasn't sealed at this point, and fountaining it all over the back of my right hand, which it's not showing up too greatly on there, but you can see that red line at the bottom, and it is redder. Oh, I think that, yeah, but yeah, basically the entirety of the back of my hand. So it, at the time, it really did feel like the whole thing was still on fire, even after, you know, sort of like half an hour of dunking it in cold water. Whenever it dried out, you know, while it was in the cold water, it was fine. The moment it came out of the cold water, it would start playing up again. By this point, it was really late, and it was like, I just want to go to bed. So I took some painkillers and I got off to bed. By the time I woke up in the morning, it was okay because it's one of the. I find that a lot of my pains tend to be so like if you don't do anything about it, if you refuse to acknowledge it, like when you're asleep, then it's all out. There's no point in complaining. Just stop bothering. But then I'd sort of like, as I got up, I brushed the back of my hand against something, and it just felt like it was on fire again. So that was fun. It's calmed down to the point now where it doesn't feel like that most of the time. If I'm looking at it and I'm flexing my fingers, I can still feel the skin is tight. It's not really painful, it's just tighter than it should be, and it still looks very red in person. I know that's not picking it up at all well. Yeah. I've spoken to a couple of people about it, and it's like, yeah, it'll slowly fade over the next, couple of days, weeks. So yay. But the other advantage is it's not blistered. And it's not gone ashen white or charred black, so probably doesn't require medical attention to resolve it. It's just a matter of time now. So that's that. Had a good stream on Friday for Bioshock. I think I'm fairly quickly coming up to the first major plot twist. Currently eating, by the way, it's chicken and mushroom fried rice with peanuts and sugar peas. Sugar snaps? Sugar snaps. And a squeeze of lime. Should have it over and done with soon. But yeah, off camera. Off camera, I've not really played that many video games at the moment. When I do play a video game, I'll sit down and play it for like an hour or two, and then put it down and so I'll like play something completely different. I'm really all over the show at the moment. Been watching a fair few Marvel movies. Evening, all things geek girl. How goes it? I've kind of fallen behind with the Marvel movies, so I'm sort of like playing catch up a little bit. Finally got around to seeing Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. And then I've started watching the Loki series. There's only like 6 episodes, and I'm nearly done with it. But yeah, between doing all of that, setting up a new game of Starfinder for a couple of friends, I've not really had much time for video games, and I can't find anything that I want to settle on. When I'm not streaming. Yeah, streaming. It's one of them. My streaming schedule is planned out probably for the rest of the year. in some way or form. I mean, the Fridays are a little bit more variable. Well, the Fridays are a little more decided, but also slightly variable. In the fact that I'm taking suggestions off Nagcat_UK and JStation64, who joined me in the chat on the Friday stream to keep me company and keep me from getting too scared. So, there we go. Let's have some shout outs for those people. 64. They also stream over on their own channel, so go check them out. But yeah, currently playing Bioshock. Next game up will be, I think it's my choice next, and that's either going to be Bioshock 2 or it's going to be Resident Evil 7. Then my cat's choice is Control. JStation64 is either going to be Bioshock 2 if I didn't choose it, Bioshock Infinity if I did choose it, or God of War if I've managed to get hold of it for a not so ridiculous price. Then my next choice will be either Bioshock Infinity, Bioshock 2, or Resident Evil 8, depending on choices prior made. Then I don't know where it's going with my cat, but yeah. That stream is planned out for quite a while. But on my Tuesday, Thursday streams, I am currently playing Pillars of Eternity. The next game up is Yakuza Like a Dragon. But I've also got a list lying around somewhere. It's on the Discord if anyone cares to go see it. I need to update it at some point. I have not thought about the System Shock. I hear that they're doing a remake of it. Is that the link to Discord? Yeah, there it is. I've heard they're doing a remake and I'm kind of curious about it. But I'm also not that sold on it because it's... I think it depends on whether they're making it a remake as in very similar to the original, just with updated graphics and controls. Or whether they're redoing it entirely or... The verdict's out on it. You know, the original Bioshock was a little bit clunky, but it was a sign of its time. System Shock 2, again, a little bit clunky, but it was a sign of its time. It was before I really started playing spooky games, and that thing was a little bit on the spooky side, so I didn't really feel like getting into it. But it's one of them where it's like, it's very similar to Prey and Bioshock. So it should be in the wheelhouse of games that I enjoy. Hey Mag, yep. Wibble indeed. We're just talking about my streaming schedule. Friday's a little bit more set in stone, but also very wibbly. What game is this? This is going to be Pillars of Eternity. Oh, the game that I was talking about when you entered. All Things Geek Go mentioned about the System Shock, where I believe that they're remaking it, remastering it. The original System Shock By the time that I got into gaming, well, this kind of gaming, it was too clunky for my liking. System Shock 2 was too scary for my liking at the time. And now they're both just kind of really old and clunky. So, yeah, I briefly played System Shock 2, but I looked at System Shock and it looked clunky, and recently RetroTed played through it, and yeah, it's clunky. It kind of reminds me of the good old sort of like Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, that kind of graphics. And playstyle, I'm not sure if it could even jump in the game. So it's one of them where it's like I'm a little bit hit and miss if I want to go back and play. I don't want to go back and play them, but also with them remaking it or remastering it or whatever they're doing with it, it kind of depends on what they're doing with it as to whether I'll be interested in it. I should be, given that, no jumping reminds me of Rise of Triad. Was Rise of Triad before or after Doom? I'm trying to remember. It's one of them where it's like, I think it was after, because Doom is largely seen as the oh, hey Ellie, how's it going? We're just talking video games while I still have face with chicken fried rice. Yeah, Doom is largely recognized as one of the early sort of like first-person shooters. If not the grandfather of them all. And so everything came after that. But I'm pretty sure that there was others that were before it. It's just they never got anywhere near as popular. So nobody really cares to remember them. And I'm trying to remember if Rise of Triad is one of them or not. Rise of Triad, December 1994 show aired, February 17th, 1995 full version. Yeah, are you going to look up Doom as well? How are you anyway this evening, Ellie? There, J-Station, welcome in. 11, a number that stands proud like the pillars of eternity themselves. Bum bum ball. How you doing, J-Station? Hey, apparently a hype train is close. Yeah, it's a hype train. Sorry, Twitch has introduced these things called booster trains. Doom was 1993. Let's say yeah, Doom beat Rise of Triad by like 2 years. Clear 2 years. Yeah, it's one of them where it's like, I feel like they could do with the streamer being able to select whether it's a boost train or whether it's a hype train. Because that time that you got a boost train in J-Station, it was just ridiculous because it was like, I'm closing out my stream because I've finished playing the game that I wanted to finish. And in celebration for J-Station finishing a game, people were donating bits and the like. And that caused a boost train. A boost train is Twitch's idea of a good idea, where the more that you're boosted, the longer you get boosted to the sort of like front page of Twitch, if people are anywhere near interested in what you're actually streaming. The problem for J-Station was that it was coming at the precise moment where it's like, I want to wrap up and leave, so I'll see the end of a train out. Which is, like, fair enough. And then it's like, you're boosted now for 20 minutes. And so a few people, I think, turned up. You were, because you were boosted. But I think you got like 2 followers very quickly after you were boosted. So it works. The only problem is it's like the worst time for a viewer to join a stream. It's like, thank you for coming, folks. Take care. Goodbye. And now I just realised I put food in the oven but didn't start the timer. Or note when today's menu is either undercooked or carbon frisbees. I mean, this is why I tend to microwave a lot of things. Although, to be fair, I've screwed up microwaving something once. Put something in the microwave once and I thought it was for 3 minutes. It was for 30 minutes. And it's one of them where it's like I put it in the microwave and then walked away. Came up to my computer. And I can hear the microwave from where I am, sat at my computer. And so usually it's like I hear the ding and it's like I'll go down and get it. Thank you all things Geek Girl for the sub. The hype train is close, but it's not quite there yet apparently. I don't know. One of them things where it's like it's very vague on what triggers these things. I mean, it's probably intentionally vague so that people don't just pay exactly what is necessary to trigger them. You know, because it's not in Amazon's best interests, or Twitch's best interests, as I should say. That was louder than I was expecting. Yay! Hype train! Thank you, Maccat, for the gifts up to the Ghost of Sunny. They are all much appreciated. Subs, gifts, bits, not sure Amazon helps. Yeah, the thing is, it's not in Amazon's interest to make sure, you know, for you to know exactly. Oh, subs, gift subs, and bits. Not sure if Amazon Amazon Prime subs helps. Okay. I don't know. I don't care. I do appreciate the hype trains and the don't get me wrong, I'm not being ungrateful about this. So hype trains for you so far equals opening menu of Alien Isolation and eating. I mean, it should be Pillars of Eternity, not Alien Isolation. Does it say Alien Isolation somewhere? I don't think it does. No easy way for me to check on mine. Oh! The last time that I got hype train was when I was waiting on the loading menu for Alien Isolation and when I was eating. Yay! Go me. But yes, it is much appreciated, the hype train, the subs, whether they're Prime subs or standard subs. I care not which. It's knows what the public wanted. So, like, I mean, you can all, you know, I could turn this into a mukbang if that's what people are really interested in. I mean, there's 4 of you in the chat at the moment, and I've managed to get a hype train going, so, you know. Is this what my life has come to? Cooking food to eat it on stream just so that I get money paid for it? I'm not sure if I want to live in that reality. He should do cooking, eating streams. He'd be rich on Twitch in 1 minute. Hi everyone, I'm Karen Rushmore and welcome to Menu Munch. I mean, I have thought about doing cooking streams. One of the problems with potentially cooking streams is I have to double check a load of terms and services. I know that in some cases I wouldn't be able to put them out to other platforms, I don't think. Can't remember which that it is, but basically you're not allowed on any shape or form a knife. So if you were to prepare vegetables, for example, you'd be sort of like, this is how you prepare vegetables. Get out a knife and you're instantly banned. You could demonstrate with a spoon on a carrot and it's like, this is how I cut a carrot. Of course, a spoon won't cut a carrot, so let's throw that away, throw the carrot away, and here's some I prepared earlier. Kind of touch. But yeah, it's one of them where it's like, I need to check Twitch's terms and services. I'd also need to double check whether I'm allowed to show blood on Twitch, because if I'm doing anything in the kitchen, there's a really good chance that there is going to be blood. Or at least some kind of injury seen on stream. I mentioned this, I think, before most of you got here. I was making a hot water bottle the other day, Monday night, and content warning, injury, by the way. So I was filling up the hot water bottle, and then I spilt a little bit over my hand, and it's like, that hurts. Put that down the kettle, and it was like, okay, need to run this hand under the cold water. Transfer the hot water bottle to the other hand, squeeze it a little bit too tight and just fountain it up and out. And it's like, no, I didn't cut myself, I injured myself. But I'm not sure if injuries are allowed on Twitch. It's one of them where it's like, I appreciate that you could accidentally injure yourself, and that might be allowed, but accidentally injuring yourself with a knife and you missed a train? What? I thought there was a hype train. Or did we just miss it? Oh well. Thank you for trying, folks. What's it? Flibbity flob. So I squeezed it a little bit too tight and the water came fountaining up out of the hot water bottle and all down the back of my hand. And then I'm sort of like, this hand is burning. This hand now has a hot water bottle in and is burning even more. My brain just throws and was like, I don't know how to safely get this hot water bottle out of my hand. So I just thought, like, okay, first thing to do, process the pain. Okay, now that that's dealt with, I can put the hot water bottle down there, that's safe, and run my hands under cold water. Ran my hands under the cold water for as long as I could stand, and yeah, I ended up burning the back of my hand really badly. It doesn't show up too much. Oh, that. So yeah, it's all the way over the back of the hand. Step one, process the pain. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, yes, you need to process the pain, and then fit. Because the thing is, if you're trying to make... No, that's the thing that... So, if you try to skip to step 2, you're likely just to panic because you're in pain. So, you know, the first thing that came across my mind, it's like, my hand is in pain. I don't know where to put the hot water bottle. Just drop it on the floor, and it's like, oh wait, that's where my feet are. Okay, do I put it down on the side? No, because then there'll be hot water everywhere. Where do I put the hot water bottle? Couldn't think, and it was just very much sort of like Chronicle events online for all to see. I mean, yeah. So it was like, I couldn't think straight. So it's like, okay, first step, just process the pain. Ow. And then start thinking about these things. It's a water bottle episode? I'm not sure if I get the reference. And then, you know, you can start acting rationally once you've taken a moment to process the pain. If you just try to go to step 2, then you do end up with panic and fainting. And that wouldn't have been good. You know, it's like me living alone, filling a hot water bottle, faint, go backwards, spill the water bottle all over my chest and face, and just end up horribly mangled up. Is that what you people want? It's like a Hot Springs episode, but British. Fair enough. I have realised that I don't know where my vape is. And I've finished eating, so now I want a vape. I need to go find my vape. It'll be around somewhere. I'll be right back a second. Found it. Oh. Hey, R. Beasley. How's it going? Beastlies. Yeah, so anyway. Right, I think that's enough idle chit-chatter. Mention what I'm playing next, which will be Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm heading into Twin Elms in Pillars of Eternity. Don't quite know how that's gonna go. And that can go. Kinda need that open. And that can go away. That can go away, and start that up. Click on that, click on that, click on that. Nope. Click on that, and there we go. That's enough idle chit chat. Now it's for intense chit chat, and there we go. Good. That's enough for random chit chat. Now we turn to the well scripted lines of random into random chit chat. I mean, most of this is going to be mainly me trying to figure out how to read again. I don't do very well at the reading. How's the stream looking? Is everything looking okay? Also, am I off center? I feel like I'm just off center at the moment. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I just feel like I'm off center. Right, we have just arrived here at Hearth Song. We talked to the warrior people. We're moving on in.
Such beautiful cities they have woven with nature.
Wolf companion. I just want to see your people I should be talking to. Concerned people. Not sure if I want to talk to the concerned. Life's like that sometimes. What, feeling off kilter or what? I don't know what life is like at any time. Okay, that's that. I think there's still something in construction. Oh no, everything's been completed. Did I finish that one? Oh yeah, all upgrades in the stronghold complete. Woo! Now everything I make is just money. They don't want me taking that. Bear companion, wolf companion, couple of hunters. Half-song market. Let's go inside and see what there is. Box of chocolates. I swear down sometimes, J-Station, you sound like you should make sense, but you just don't. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. You see an Olan man crouching over a half-drawn map, intently shading line by careful line. The notes he works from smell of salt and sea, water-smudged scribbles bracing them a mess of illustrations and measurements. He finishes each stroke with precision before moving on to the next, slow, deliberate, nothing out of place. A bell tolls lightly in the distance, and he pauses, replacing a quill with a dagger he slides into his belt. Opening the door into his shop, he assumes a smile and engages his customer, an older dwarf with a grey-stained beard. The dwarf inquires about a few items, trying on a few pieces of armor, a pair of braces, but nothing seems to garner his attention. With a harumph, the guard leaves, a little too hurried, a little too nervous. The shopkeeper grunts and taking a crossbow down from the wall and locking the door behind him. Beneath the tolling bell, the impact of a crossbow bolt barely makes a sound as it stops the thief in his tracks. The shopkeeper strolls over to the wailing man, unconcerned as he rifles through his pockets. A potion there, a pouch of silver coins, several scrolls. He had done well, just not well enough. I never understood that line. If I opened a box of chocolates and didn't find chocolates inside, I'd be disappointed. It's like it's like packets of nuts containing a warning may contain nuts, kind of reason to buy them. As you near, you fy the vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past call out to you. You see a child, a heavy chain running from her wrist to the wall, and scrubbing at a kitchen tile with deliberate slowness. The stain is dark and heavy, but she scrubs for hours, failing to notice the passage of time, failing to greet the moon as it rises. Her small face is hard and dry as she scrubs. When she is done, the kitchen is raw and fresh, ready for a new day. But she has not done yet. Trembling, she approaches the body in the corner. The whites of her eyes grow ever larger as she reaches into the pocket, grasping for freedom, and finding it in the form of a key. She does not notice the blood smeared on her blouse or the stares of the townspeople as she runs towards the shoreline and the docks in the distance. Well, these are cheerful folks. As you near, you feel the vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from the past seem to call out to you. You see a band of elves tread warily through the undergrowth, hands tight on weapons, eyes locked on the forest floor. They move silently, fluidly, a team practiced in the art of the hunt. A distant thud sends birds panicking into the sky, and the group changes course towards the source of the sound. In the lead, a tight-strung bowman scouts, so alert he's trembling. Vaulting over exposed root, he holds a hand in the air, and the group pauses, taking cover behind time-gnarled trunks. There's a moment of stillness before the forest itself rises up to greet them. The creature is enormous, twice the size of any elf, and an endless stream of arms of vine snap towards the assailant, snatching at ankles, arms, and legs. One elf goes down and is thrown into the trees with a rending crack. Another slips, jumping to avoid the snake-like vines, and before he can react, a vine is around his wrist. The air blurs with arrows as the lead bowman lets loose, giving his companions time to recover. An unearthly howl sounds as a rapier slices through one of the creature's arms, incapacitating it momentarily. Taking his chance, the bowman switches arrows, lighting the wet shafts with a slick blue fire. Blue fire? The monstrous mass of vines screeches as the flames take their toll, lashing out at any and all who come near. Two elves lie unconscious on the ground, another dead, and an enormous dent in his skull. The creature falls, finally, but there are no cheers, no celebration. The group is somber as they collect their dead and wounded. It also says on the box of chocolates what's in it. Who buys a box of entirely random unlabeled chocolates? I mean, I'm guessing at the time that the movie is written, it's not really clear. Might not have been something that was done.
Many blessings, traveler.
An old elven woman, clothed in thick robes, beckons you approach. Welcome, foreigner, welcome. Her forearms, splotched with blue and green and blue stains, wiggle out of her hanging sleeves like caterpillars out of ripe fruit. I've got what you seek, always. Come see. Between bows and smiles, she points to a little girl beside the herbalist store. We're here to help you, foreigner. Yes, we are. The Fisher Crane tribe serves your people. Our people. Your people. Urgent potions, tinctures. She makes a sprawling gesture at the collection of pots, bottles, and herbs that lies behind her. If you seek it, I have it. Always. Let's see what you have for sale. Of course, foreigner. Of course. Cannot remember any of the stuff that I need. So goodbye. Harley handles the trades. I'm just her apprentice.
Hail, Estermore.
Some fruits for your travels. I hold here many delicious cheeses and fresh fruits. Tell me about your trade. My life is simple and makes a poor tale. I tend gardens in my herd, and my family picks these delicious fruit you see behind me. The gods have been kind. Let's see what you have. You will not regret it, but please, no tasting. Oh, I missed a person.
Hail, Estermore.
I have a feeling that's Matt Mercer again. You have a look of a hunter, Estermore. Derwin's weapons may protect the woman who seeks out misfortune, but my supplies will help you survive out in the wilds. May I see your wares? Haranet nods, gesturing to his goods with a sweep of his arm. Same speed, same damage. That one's exceptional. Mine's exceptional. Bypass DR -6, that's a 3. Crit damage multiplier is actually up by 0.5. It's also got a +3 bypass. Okay. See, this gives me ambushing and stealth. This just bypasses more of the DR. So essentially gives me another 3 damage every shot, plus the crit damage multiplier is up somewhat. Tried to Google it, but I can't find anywhere useful, so unknown if chocolate boxes were mystery packed back in the good old days. How about life is like a bag of revels? I mean, you still know what you're getting into. You don't quite know what you're going to get, whether it's toffee or caramel, I think, are the two. I don't. I've not actually had a bag of Rebels. It's just not my thing. I don't eat much chocolate. I'll eat chocolate if it's there, but I don't eat much of it. But you still roughly know what you're getting into. It's not like you're about 5 or 6 in Rebels, I think. About 5 or 6 in Rebels? Yeah. Anyway, that's not really a useful thing. Some fine weapons, Tautain staff. I don't really think I need that. A Widowmaker and 2 Widowmaker with spiderlings. Tempted just to buy it because I can, and it's surprise spiders if I ever need them. But I'm buy it, and
brings you here?
I'll probably end up forgetting about it. But I've got so much money, I don't care. Do. Now we've got the Oaken Scarab figurine and the Ebony Spider figurine.
Hey.
Builder's wisdom to you.
This thick-framed woman smiles broadly as you approach. Ah, I see you heard it. A good blade has a voice, and it sings to its wielder. What weapon called you forward? I like my weapons silently, actually. Tell me about your craft. My weapons speak for themselves, and every man and woman in this market knows my worth. Even that Tamara, I bear knowledge my father held, and his mother before him. Take up one of my blades, and you hold a weapon 5 generations in the making. Derwin snorts. That they say I should not waste such fine weapons on Estra Morwen. I say a good weapon lying on a rack is a true waste.
Builder's wisdom to you.
Can I have a look at the weapons? Look all you wish. My weapons are the pride of the Air Glamfarth. They're very pretty weapons, I'll give you that. But just nothing exceptional. I mean, there's literally exceptional weapons, but nothing that I am finding exceptional here. That's interesting. The endurance regeneration might be useful. I don't want it to slow anybody down any further though. So I click on you, and then click. %. Yeah. No. What are we doing? Life is like a bag of screws in the shed. Woohoo! Food isn't too badly burnt. To take exception is to the lack of exception. Oh wait, they're both spelt the same. Take exception for the lack of exception. Aha. Yeah, exception and exception is it's English for you folks. Ooh, the helmet of Darksea. tempted just to buy them because they look silly. Who's my perception person? Buttons, there we go.
Ready, Watcher.
You're gonna look fabulous. There they go. There they are. Oh, god damn it. It doesn't have the goggles. I feel like I'm conned. It's one of them. It's like, it's got antlers and it's like, oh yeah, let's make a whole thing with happy smiley faces. I got a notification. I'm gonna butcher that name. Silent. I believe that is how I'm going to pronounce it. Welcome, thank you for the follow. I'm currently playing through Pillars of Eternity. This is my first playthrough, so no spoilers if you please, but welcome in. How goes it? But yeah, for that they've got antlers, for that they've got antlers. I've got horns, can't wear a thing. They've got a very customized head. They're not wearing any headgear at the moment, and you don't even get the goggles. I feel conned, robbed and conned. As I realised. That's stealthy, which is going to give 2 stealth. I need to figure out who needs those better. It's 11, an 8, a 9. So you will benefit from those the most. There we go. Doesn't that just look fetching? Alright.
Hey.
Builder's wisdom to you.
I do like the style of Dowell of Karok. Just very much so, like, and also a semi-interesting backstory, and it's one of them where it's like I feel for them. It's always a sign of a good bad guy or potential bad guy, where it's like, yes, I can understand why you are the way you are. This tall woman is clad in furs. She settles a sharp, dark-eyed gaze on you. I hold here the best hides in Englarthoth. Hides so thick the Stelda cannot claw through. Boots so supple they will smother the sounds of your steps. What's your trade? I bear it on my skin. I sell hides. From every one of Galawain's beasts, Ethramoran come from every village to see them, and know us for great hunters. Every hide bears the tale of a great hunt, and our traders bear them in turn to every corner of our lands. May I see your wares? Then here, look upon the bounties of our hunters have. Look upon the bounty our hunters have provided us. Yep, it's a bunch of armor. Okay, great stuff.
All right then.
Nothing more of particular interest in there, I don't think. I've just arrived at Halfsong. And when it finishes loading in, there we go. I have a feeling this is going to be one of them sessions where I'm just walking around everywhere and talking to everything. I know roughly where I'm supposed to be going, which is that big long building in the front. But I do like these things. Tabby Cap steps out from its placid stupor as you approach. It opens its eyes wide, following your every step, before trotting to your side to rub against your legs. Orange Tabby Cat added to your inventory. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. You see an enormous mane of wild orange hair belonging to a burly man. his expression slightly worried in a small candlelit room. Across from him sits a portly woman with a third eye painted on her forehead. She gazes at him and clucks her tongue, standing him upright. He's a clear head and a half taller than her, but it is she who commands the room. She closes her eyes, her hands on her chest, and speaks. She sees a small grey creature darting from place to place, running and escaping. She's chasing it, four legs bounding, jumping across the room frantically when... She laughs, opening her eyes and withdrawing her hand. Immediately, guiltily, she apologizes, avoiding his eyes. He demands to know what is wrong with him, what is causing his strange behavior. Before you were born, your soul split, child, she explains, frightening a smile. While half of it went to you, the other half seems to have become rather feline in nature. He rocks back, expression after expression pounding his face. His mouth opens and closes for several moments before he bows his head, the edge of a smile playing around his mouth as, suddenly he begins to laugh, doubling over, tears streaming down his face. Composing himself, he thanks her and leaves, the mystery solved. The pedestal's shadow creeps around the dais. So a normal session for you then. Wait, is that easy to get a cat? I've been doing it wrong the whole time? I mean, pretty much, if my experience of cats is anything to go by. Spread across a lumpy pallet of straw, the hide blankets are surprisingly soft. Dried herbs crunch between your fingers, giving off a sweet floral aroma. Yet there's no one else here. Odd. Did not want to do that. Sorry, I was just checking notifications on my phone and I accidentally closed Twitch. I have no idea what any of you are saying. There we go. The kittens just can't resist Chiron. Oh, hello. What do you want? The guard places his spear between you and the path that lies beyond the gates. Still, Estramor, the rest of the city is forbidden except by order of one of the Anamatha. Trespassing in Twin Elms is punishable by death. How do I get permission from one of the Anathema? He grudgingly points to a long hut in the middle of the district. You can always find one of the Anamatha in the Passage of the Six. Perhaps Anamatha Bethel will listen, if she can tolerate your barbaric language. I'll have you know, I know many languages. I don't recall which languages until it's spoken at me, but I remember them. Such a brutal law for such a mellow-sounding place. Cats only tolerate us as they can't open the tins of food on their own yet. I mean, I don't know. There's a cat that keeps coming around here, and I do not offer it much food. If it's lucky, it will get a slice of ham if I happen to have ham in. I've not had ham in over a year now. It still comes around and it's like, Lindsay.
Hail, Estramor.
Welcome to my home, Estramor. I am Lindsay, a healer and guide. What brings you here? I like your songbird. Does it have a name? Well, he does, she blushes, but I ought not to have let my friend's daughter name him. The name is long and rather silly. The short version is Beaker. She rolls her eyes and smiles. The next bird I have will be named after the animal. Tell me about yourself. The locals call me a wise woman, a term of respect I'm sure, but it makes me feel my years. I'm a herbalist and healer. I spend most of my time caring for the ill, helping the delivery of children and making remedies for those in pain. I should be going. The edge of a shelf is daubed with birdlime. Seeds and husks have been scattered across the floor. I saw no bird. Did I close up? I did close up. Can I? How am I supposed to click on that one? I know it's there. There we go. Despite the apparent crude construction, the angles of the sod roof are perfectly symmetrical. It hums and vibrates for activity within. Oh, somebody else telling me that I can't go this way. And do not try my patience, Estimor. You shall not pass without permission of the Anthanatha. How do I get permission? Thank you. Goodbye. I don't want to be as rude as to say the other thing or just walk away. Somebody over this way also gonna block my way? Probably. Yes, yes. Thank you. Goodbye. Nope. Did not realize that was locked. No door on that home. Hey, Saber. You cannot pass the gates without getting permission from X. How do I get permission from X? X is just beyond the gate. He can give you permission. Which Pillars of Eternity NPC do you think best resembles a turnip? Are the turnips the purplish ones? Or are they Swedes? I say Swedes, I know that the rest of the world doesn't know them as Swedes, but I can't remember what the rest of the world calls them. You're thinking of the red onion. So what does a turnip look like then? Huh? And what's a purplish? I'm going to have to Google it now. Turnips are turnips. Why, thank you, Saber. Yeah, turnips are purplish. Success. What? People are confusing. I'm trying to remember the names of the other NPCs, and I can't look at their faces. Z Olin, but I can't remember what their name is. Oh, send escort. There we go. No. Probably have to be Alof. I know that basically most of it is the purplish underlighting. Some are white. Turnips are an important part of an Infinity Engine CRPG games. Are they? I'm now curious as to what turnips have got to do with the Infinity Engine. I've played most Infinity Engine games to some degree. Completed a few of them. And I remember absolutely, it's a turnip for the books. You're gonna have to put it out, aren't you? Right, okay, supplicant. If ignored, -5 prestige, plus 0 security for 3 days, minor reputation with defiance being negative, or pay off for 500, or just escort them. You go take them wherever they're going. Renato. To the punishment corner with you. Someone knew what I'm talking about. I am so confused. Silent. Turnips are an important part of the Infinity Agency RPG games. So are white. That's a turnip for the books. Still don't know what anything's got to do with anything right now. I'm just going to continue playing the game. You all have fun in chat. She'll pay. That witch Shill, fuming with anger and pacing in tiny circles, of a alien merchant aims his wild rant at you as you approach. You there! Have you come here to trade with the savages? Learn from my example and take your business elsewhere. Spittle accents his every sentence. Liars, cheats, swindlers! This duplicitous bitch, Alafai. She claimed to be selling the Edragok flower buds, but all I have now are 6 bushels of common houseplants. These herbs are useless. He throws a handful of dried plants on the ground, stomping on the brittle stems and leaves, kicking up the pungent, savoury scents. I'll get my money back from the swindling savage. What did Al-Hai say when you confronted her? Nothing of substance, he quickly mutters. She defended herself, of course, saying the herds were legitimate. Why wouldn't she lie? No one will value my word over hers. He spits on the ground. Her lie can lie with impunity when surrounded by her gangs of savage thugs. What do you intend to do about this? When I get my hands on... Renato halts his sentence, his eyes darting around at the nearby Glenfarden guards. I'm in a savage home court, so it's my word against hers. Where does that leave me? I'd be a fool to threaten her here on tribal soil. He sighs, pressing his temples. I cannot sell this worthless herbs to recover my coin, and I am powerless to confront Alahai. I don't suppose, he looks up at you, if you're willing to mediate, perhaps you could succeed where I have failed. I would, of course, pay you handsomely for your troubles. I'll see what I can do. Well, let me see what you... Oh, I clicked the wrong one initially, but anyway, let's see what you have for sale. And Renato looks away from you, scratching his neck and shifting his feet. I am destitute, and I have but a few meagre offerings left to sell. How dreadfully embarrassing. If I can recover my investment from Alhi, I'll have the funds to resupply my stores. Until then, you are welcome to take a look at what little I have still in stock. In the junk.
Good day, stranger.
The celestial sapling. You want up? I pull. The pulley struts disappear into the branches of the massive elm more than 100 feet overhead. Alright, let's a lap around this place. Oh god, more puns probably. Hey Retro Ted, welcome in. As you might be able to tell, I am fully confused at what most of the Red is chatting about. As J Station says, achievement unlocked, bamboozle the streamer. I mean, with me, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Howdy Retro, welcome to this discussion of turnips and their many uses in games. Swindle them now. Does that really count when it's Chiron? No, not really. Yeah, I'm too easy of a target. I'm confused as well, so you're in good company. I don't know. See, Retro Ted, you know about the Infinity engines as well, don't you? And there was a silent mentioned a comment about turnips and how they're important for the Infinity engines and which NPC most looks like a turnip. Now I said Elf because of his purplish underglow, but for no other reason. That turnips can be purplish. But never have I ever heard of turnips being referenced to or regarding the Infinity Engine games. I think you know just about as much of them as I do now, so you any ideas? Or are they just trying to confuse me? As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. You see a pair of muscled legs whirling through the air, knocking down two opponents and twisting backwards into another. The monk takes a deep breath and smoothly reverses, a brutal uppercut disabling a fourth combatant, and a leg sweep marking his victory as the fifth falls to the ground. He's a blur of action as he vaults over the wall and dives smoothly through into an open window. The room is empty. He centers himself and continues, knocking one guard unconscious after another. The only sound of his passing are the grunts and moans of the injured and incapacitated. There are no deaths tonight. He makes his way through the building, single-minded, towards the central room, taking out another two guards with the motionless invasion of their minds, a skill half remembered from another lifetime. He enters the room. The wisp of a man bows. He smiles mockingly and disappears, a projection, nothing more. The monk bows back and leaves back the way he came. Is it a thing, or are we just trying to confuse you? Why not both? I mean, it's not difficult to do both. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. You hear it before you see it. A scream rends its way through the air as what was once a woman falls to the ground, a mess of blood and bone. Another falls to the right, paralyzed by a force far beyond her control, as she is halved by a magical blade. Above, two corpses are caught in a web, cocooned and fed upon by a bevy of giant spiders, glutting themselves on the kill. Before them, a man stands frozen in panic and grief, unaware of a spider descending silently down on a thick rope of webbing. He is broadsided by another man just in time, who knocks him out of the way, but is unable to avoid the spider himself. The man snatches him up and sinks two fangs the size of bullhorns into him, eliciting a terrible shriek. Another man laughs, weaving his spells into the night of death and betrayal. The last man, the man who was saved, scrambles to his feet and runs, throat coarse from screaming, eyes shot with panic and tears. He looks over his shoulder, his eyes lingering on the woman's torso, unrecognizable in death, a ring on its finger matching one on his. Then he turns back towards the exit and does not look back again. People who wrote for these things have weird imaginations. Alright, in we go. Quick way to burn some turnips. Don't care about the result either, I'm just fanning the flames because it's funny. The twice split arrows. The three tusks Stelgar. The fisher's crane. The stone bramble, the keeper of stone, and the gilded compass. Greetings, we have arrived.
Estramore. What do you want?
Middle-aged Olin woman stands at the back of the longhouse, an expression of irritation on her narrow features. As you approach, she takes a decisive step towards you. Sangi leans in, careful. This old woman's young for an elder, and is looking to prove herself, I think. I am looking for another who passed through the city.
Few Estramoran are given the freedom of our sacred city. That you ask for this person is suspicious. There are reasons we don't let you Estramoran roam our sacred city. Reasons I am coming to understand.
Has something happened recently? More than I care to think about.
Looters have grown bolder at the sites of the builders. The people of Defiance Bay set fire to their own city. And every week, the three Tusk Stelgar bring news of more desperate settlers pushing at our borders, trying to escape their plague of Anolfane children.
Are these magical items or just someone's collection of knickknacks? They are magical items, but aren't as impressive as a turnip launcher. Okay, I'm pretty sure the turnip launcher doesn't exist. I don't know if they're actually a thing or whether they're knickknacks, but all of them seem to be related to... Why did you blink? Bubbling? I thought I turned everything down. Doobly what's it? Flibbity flob. One more. Let me turn you off. There we go. They seem to be sort of like symbols of the different tribes. They seem to have that tone about them, you know. I think. I don't know for sure. Suddenly you feel the presence of someone else in the hall. The Matha continues to glare at you, but something has stepped out of her skin. It reaches out to you.
Permitting more strangers the freedom of the city is out of the question right now. Go and be thankful that Anamfath Shimak doesn't sit in the passage of the Six today. He would not be so kind as I.
A vision of an Orlan man appears near Bethwell. He has the same green-brown fur and hazel eyes as she does. Help me reason with them. He points behind you. Turning, you see the ghostly shapes of 5 other Mather, another Orlean with tawny fur and a scarred face, a frowning dwarf, a black-furred Orlan, and 2 elves. You're angry about something. I hear it in your voice. What is it? Are the outrages I listed not enough for you? Trouble brews, and nothing is of it is my choosing. The spectral Orlan takes another step from her, setting his foot down with a slow, heavy motion. Tendrils of essence strain between them, and he grimaces and leans forward as if struggling against the gale. The angry Anamantha wince. War. The spectral Orlan's voice is a rasping croak. They're headed for war. Remind them of Felwant's warning. Does Felwant's warning mean anything to you? Felwant's soul image gasps. Taunt threads of essence tug at him, drawing him back into the Anmathan. He looks up at you again. I tried to tell them. The builders' souls have touched even the Estramora.
You'd better explain yourself.
Two attending tribesmen look at the from the Anmathath to you, their sword hands ready, the slitted pupils narrow. The builder's souls have touched even the Esthramoran.
There's no way you could have known this saying, not unless you are a Galuth on Anums, a watcher of souls.
Who was Philip? She looks down. She looks sadly down at the flagstones. Someone we should have listened to long ago.
Feralt's warning came before the Broken Stone War. Feralt, my ancestor on my mother's side, was Anamfoth of our tribe then. When the Estromoric farmers defiled the builders' monuments, Feralt urged the other Anamfotha to patience, but louder, angrier voices prevailed.
It's a regular launch, but the power is turned up to the max. Used by turnip bandits, of course. Fair enough. I mean, one of the things about turnips is they are hard and plentiful. You could probably actually do some damage if you had like giant catapult firing turnips.
Feralt believed that the invaders could be taught to respect the builders as we do. He also believed the builders' souls had spread to all peoples, and that we should avoid needless conflict with others. More practically, he worried that a violent response would only spur further bloodshed across the generations, and you can see where we are today.
What do you mean?
While Feralt's words were shrewd, they were ignored back then. Simply remembering his warning now will not undo the wars and the changes that the years have seen. There is blood on these stones, and that is all anyone remembers now.
An image of a polished Adler cube flashes into your mind. There is a writing on the sides, but the image is too faint for you to read it. The Anamathath turn away from you and look at the ground, gnawing on a pointed claw. You can't change the past, but your choices now still matter. She looks at you sadly. Yes, that is the problem.
Another Estromor came through here a few days ago and, well, letting him through was a mistake. One I am eager not to repeat. The Guided Compass tribe has a reputation for being too soft with Estromoran. One that will not be improved by my failure to stop this man who has desecrated our most sacred sites.
Then now's the time to fix things.
I won't repeat a mistake in my haste to correct it. We bar Twin Elms from Estromoran to protect the ancient places that the Builders left behind. The Builders left this heritage to us to defend, but they alone had access to it. On this much, at least the 6 tribes agree.
You again see the polished Adler cornerstone in your mind. This time the image is clearer. Each face of the stone is inscribed with a phrase you know by heart. You feel your lips form the words. A gift from the builders of civilization to the guardians of their legacy. May the guardians watch the door while the builders keep the key.
These were the words given to the keepers of the stone.
Beth Will stares back at you, her tiny pointed teeth visible through her gaping mouth. I know.
Very well. The city is yours to explore. Tell the guard at the gate that you come to see the cornerstone with the blessing of the Guided Compass. If the gods have truly returned one of the builders to us, find the Delimgon of Ter Evron in Elm's Reach. If the gods have sent you here with a purpose, the Delimgon will know.
In the meantime, I shall be here to assist you. What are the 6 tribes? Glenfarthlan society is divided into tribes which are further divided into clans. Each tribe is united by a particular history or way of life, and the clans are communities of families that live together. In truth, there are more than 6 tribes, but the 6 largest have traditionally led the others. Each of the 6 has a seat here on the Passage of 6, where we discuss matters of common interest. You saw, for instance, the debate that occurred before the Broken Stone War. She gives you a hesitant look. The 6 tribes of the Keepers of the Stone, Fisher Crane, 3 Tusks, Stelgar, Stone Bramble, Twice Split Arrows, and of course the Guided Compass. Who are the Keepers of the Stone? They are the first and the oldest of the tribes. When they first sailed to Glenfarth, they met the builders who gave them the cornerstone, and whose words you quoted as a token of friendship. Many of the tribes, even among the 6, look to the keepers for guidance and leadership. Their long history grants them a place of honor in our society, though it has also made them more conservative, in my opinion, in my observation. Alright, Saber, you look away, have fun, and do whatever it is that you need to do. Heading to the shops, there we go. I can read. I need to figure out how to better set this all up. I'd like to hear about Fisher Crane. The mostly Orlan tribe from the Thynbog. Most of the sites they guard are half buried in the wetlands, and even other tribes couldn't tell you where they are. She crosses her arms. They are not the most renowned of the tribes, but they are the cleverest and subtlest. Say what you will about the berserkers of 3 Tusks Stelgar, I'd rather face them than the Fisher Crane ambush squad any day. They are named after a long-necked bird that lives in the bog. It can stand motionless for hours, waiting for a milk frog or a spotted salamander, but when it strikes, it's faster than anything. It's not just second monitor time, J-Station, because... See, I've been over this, and I don't know why people don't listen. I don't have the real estate for a second monitor, so I think it's time for a whole new desk. Don't know where I'm going to put that. I need to get the back room sorted, although there's also scope to not sort the back room and actually set up the streaming setup downstairs in the living room. Duct tape it to the wall. No. Because if I'm going to buy another monitor big enough for me to be able to read from the wall, it's going to have to be a big one and therefore expensive. People don't listen. I totally didn't have second desk time pre-written ready to post. Lol. Alright, fine, you listen, but it's one of them conversations where it goes round and round in circles, where it's like, yes, I could probably do with a second monitor, but it's a little overwhelming everything else that needs to be done before that can really happen. Paint a wall white and use a projector. Where would I mount the projector to be able to project it onto that wall? Also, the wall isn't flat. So this entire room would need redecorating if that was to work. It is something that I'm genuinely considering. It's just, you know, there's a couple of problems. If I set it up in the back room, then I'd have to move stuff out of there downstairs and get a floorboard sorted out, which is a whole different pain in the arse. Or I could set up downstairs. The only problem is there's a lot of junk downstairs. Some of it is not mine that would need to be organised to get rid of first, and I've been waiting on 2 years for that to happen. One might say just throw the other person's stuff out, seeing as though we don't actually live here. But I know for a fact that what's been left here is actually quite valuable. Flamethrower will be another option, although that's likely to take the rest of it house out with it. Paizo book case first, or your floor is going to give out beneath that pillar of eternity. Yeah, that's another slight concern, although I'm not excessively concerned. I don't think that the pile of books is that heavy. He says, knowing that he can probably pick it up, but can't be that heavy, can it? So only one pile of books. What do you know about the three-tusked Stelgar? She laughs and shakes her head. Same as everyone. They're fearless maniacs, and they want everyone to know it. They're considered a wild bunch, even among the Glenfarthans. Many of their territories have seen the most conflict with the Esthermorn, and they don't forget it. They don't want anyone else to either. They bore some of their heaviest casualties in the wars with the Esthermorn. In fact, there was a rift within Three-Tusked Stelgar after the War of Black Threes. Dozens of clans broke away from the ravaged lands and retreated further into the Drywood, joining whichever tribe would take them. Broken Tusks, some call them. The majority of the tribes dug into their half-buried, burned forests to hold the line, and many respect them for it. She frowns uneasily. Might actually have to take a break during the stream because I am nearly out of coffee. They've more than earned their place amongst the Six, but they advocate more conflict than is wise. And too many others are quick to idolize them for their valor in battle. Tell me about the Stone Bramble. Mostly dwarves out of the White March. They were one of the younger tribes, formed over the years by trade routes between the wilds and the mountains. They see themselves as genuine Glenfarthans, though, and who can argue with them. Only Fisher Crane defends the site in such hospitable territory. Personally, though, I think it's gone to their heads. They like to think the rest of us have it easy in the lowlands, forgetting that the wars with the Esthermorn never reached their mountains. Still, they came to our aid during both. They're named for a tough, thorny plant that grows up in the mountains. It suits them. It can't be that heavy. Let's find out, folks. I mean, what? Do you want me to weigh it or something? I mean, I suppose that could be an experiment to do with it at some point. Although I'd have to go get the weighing scales. I'm not familiar with the twice split arrows. Not many are. They're traditionally outcast and exiles from other tribes. Probably the least respected tribe of them all, but our ancestors believe they should have a voice. So they've got a seat among the Six. Most of the other tribes see them as scavengers and bottom feeders. But don't say that to a twice split arrow. They still see them. They think themselves as survivors, and they're as proud of their tribe as anyone else. She shrugs. They'll accept anyone. I suppose there's virtue in that. You never know what they're getting. You're getting with them, though. Some clans will rob you blind, and others will slaughter a lamb for the honor of your visit. The Guided Compass is your tribe, right? Indeed, we are of the youngest tribes, and not one of the most prestigious. We tried to keep the peace with the Esthermorn, which has earned us the reputation of appeasers among some of the hardline brethren of Three-Tusked Stelgar and the Keepers of the Stone. We value our heritage as Glenfarthans, but we recognise that the Erstramoran are here to stay. The way we see it, we can better follow our mandate to protect the places of the builders by making peace with our neighbours. I'd like to ask about another matter. I'd like to know more about you. I am the Anamatha of the Guided Compass. Like many Anamatha, I have leadership in my blood. While tribal authority is not strictly hereditary, we believe that strong leaders can impart a portion of their soul to their children and grandchildren, meaning that Anamatha may succeed from a single line for many generations. She wears a sharpened thumbclaw. Of course, with all that's happened here lately, I wonder whether my family line is coming to an end with me. Farewell! Right, I can go into one of the other places. Oh.
What brings you here?
Sensing you approach, an agitated elven hunter suddenly drops his conversation and turns to face you. What kind of courtesy have you learned from your filthy homeland? A red stripe of paint gleams, pearled with sweat from cheekbone to cheekbone. We speak of Glenfarthen matters. Begone. The huntress in the group raises a calloused hand. Still your heart, rider. Do not forget where you stand. She parts a fine strand of golden hair that floats before her face and acknowledges you with a nod. In the house of our ancestors and the 6 tribes, we commune as one people. The rider looks away and fumes in a restraining breath. The ancestors will forgive me and my brother when I clean the shame away from his name. He looks at the huntress, and from the taint that it has brought our tribe. What happened to your brother? My brother. The hunter's heavy breathing pauses for a moment. My brother, Theorem, is one of the greatest hunters of our tribe. He set out on a blood hunt, but hasn't returned. And now, Arthwin, that puny liar, he claims that my brother, Ryder clenches his fist. The elven huntress fills the silence. Arthwin belongs to another tribe. He is the hunter that competed against Theron during their blood hunt. She gives a glancing look to Ryder. Arthwin claims that Theron has exiled himself, decided not to return to Twin Elms. Ryder scowls. His stripe of paint curves like an angry wound. Exiled, in shame, for losing to him during the blood hunt. Can you believe this liar? Even though Arthun returned with the giant Skelgar's fang as proof, it's hard to believe that Theron would have failed to kill the prey first. The hunter digs her heels on the dark soil. But you cannot claim that yet, Ryder. Not until the Anmatha judge the truth. Arthwin's weak, from a lower tribe. Ryder bares his teeth. He lies. I'll find the truth and claim my brother's name. Why would the Arthwin lie about your brother? Ryder throws his arms in the air. Why? He looks at you as if the answer was obvious. Ryder, please, still your anger. She does not know our customs. The huntress turns to you and nods. Arthwin stands much to gain from claiming victory over Themorth. It brings renown and glory to his kin, a lesser tribe, the twice split arrows. Arthwin has no history, no name, and he has returned a hero while my brother... Ryder's face twists in ire. Tricked, perhaps worth. How do you plan to clear Theron's name? A bead of sweat rolls down Ryder's forehead and hangs from his red-painted cheekbone like a drop of blood. It quivers as the hunter's muscles twitch. I can't tarry here while my brother's fate remains unknown. The Anamathar must let me go. To judge Arthwin and to clear our tribe's name, they cannot listen to only your truth. The huntress lowers her head, glancing at you. Before the Anamathar, only an impartial voice can speak of what happened. Ryder whips his neck and the drop of sweat lingers on his cheekbone flies in your direction. You mean to involve this one? Anesthromora? She points at him, her callous finger curved like a claw. Listen to me now. Arflin returned, without proof. Your brother did not even come back. The huntress blows against the fine hairs floating over her face. The tribes are split. Something must be done. She looks at you. And this one is known to speak the truth. As an Estromor, I can look into this without risking tension between your tribes. The rider turns to face you, his hard features betraying no emotion, and he nods. You're right in claiming this. The Animathar would agree to listen. There is no unison between you and our tribes. The huntress nods at you. Thermore and Animath went to the Northfield Forest, beyond the old Song Pass, to hunt the giant Stelgar. Search there and return to us with the truth if you can. But be aware, Stelgar of such size, many times over their lesser kin, usually gather a place of pride gather a big pride that follows them closely. Ryder fixes his eye on you. Two glowing embers of blood red stripe painted across his face. Ethromar, I don't expect help. But I'll do anything to know my brother's fate and clean the stain that Arfwin has spilt on our tribe. He throws his chin back. Anything. This I claim. Blah, 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 blah. Honestly, though, if you can get these games to play in window mode, having read that we've chat literally right next to it on the same screen has been such a huge improvement for reading chat. And then JStation goes on, look, okay, have fun, JStation, with whatever it is you're doing. I mean, I can get it into windowed mode, I think. He says with absolutely no confidence. Nope, it's not going into window mode. I'd probably have to faff around in the settings to get it to work. It's just one of them where it's like, because I don't actually have a very high resolution screen, getting the chat to one side and the window in a position where I can see the chat, I don't know. I might give it a try and see what happens. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see a small murder of crows gather on the dirt path that cuts through some dry farmland. They follow this Orlan, who is making his way down the path. They sometimes hop, sometimes fly, gliding after him, but always staying behind. Occasionally one will alight briefly on his shoulder, only to quickly take wing again and rejoin its kin. As he nears a small village, a crow lands on his shoulder and begins cawing excitedly. The Orlan smiles and nods as if agreeing. He takes a small crumb of bread from a pocket within his cloak and gives it to the crow, who grabs it in its beak and flies a small distance away to eat its surprise in peace. Small children, drawn by the noise of the crow, rush out to see who the approaching stranger could be. When he has a sufficient audience, the Orlan lifts both arms out of his sides, and as if they have been trained, the crows flock to him, landing on his hands and arms. They rock, crowing in unison, almost in unison, as he stands there quietly humming a lively tune. He looks at the children and begins to tell them strange facts. He tells them of the different calls a crow can make, and what they mean. He tells them of the pecking order, of crow kings and queens long past and the times of their reigns. He does this for some time, all the while his arms bearing the weight of half a dozen crows. His arms At length, his arms seem to tire, and he drops them again, and the crows take flight, spiraling up and over his head, and then glide off in all directions, a black feathery tornado dissipating in the fading daylight. The children's delighted screams echo down the road as they run back towards town. The Orlan stands alone on the road, watching his crowds disappear in the distance. Do you have a name, or are you just a tribesman? Just a tribesman. There we go. I think if I need to review my channel and view my video. There we go. Okay, there's quite a delay on that. Graphics, not full screen. Resolution, let's take it down by a small amount and apply that. And then I can move. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Can I, there we go, grab that, move that over there, and then click back over to this. The problem with that though, how does that look on stream? I can't see how that looks on my phone. Let's see, there's this darkened gap down the side now. Transform, edit transformation. No, I didn't want transform, I wanted stretch. Undo that. Nope. To a certain degree, I just want it to fit. It won't actually allow me to resize it, which is slightly annoying. I can move it, or I can move things, but I can't actually move that for some reason. Why does it? No, that's going to annoy me. There we go. Back to full screen. I'm just going to leave it at that. Might fiddle around with it again. It's one of them where it's like I'd have to lower the resolution so that it's a compatible. What just went bum bum bum? I have to sort it out so that the resolution is the same. I want to see the big head mode. Was there a big head mode? Big heads. Apparently we should thank Josh for this. Big head mode gives characters heads that are that were disproportionate to their bodies. Oh wow. They really are very big heads.
Uh-huh. Hmm?
I mean, it's like trying to play the game with a bunch of bobbleheads. There we
Hey.
go. Normal size hits. Worth it. I'm not saying it's not worth it. It's one of them where it's like in some games I can actually get used to the big head mode slightly better because it makes them, you know, if they're not ludicrous. No, I still can't say that word. As long as they're not oversized too much, then you know, it can just make it easier to actually spot them out from a crowd, as it were. Right, so what am I supposed to be doing now? They want me to go there, but I've just gotten another hunter brother and travelled to the North Wilderness. Is that somewhere that I can go? It's the other side of here, I believe. So maybe I need to speak to Delgam Trier in Elm's Reach. Okay. Go over there. Something I didn't check. No, wrong one. Oh. Do not try my patience, Ethelmore. You shall not pass without permission of the Anamatha. I come to see the cornerstones with the blessings of the guided compass. The guard scowls and looks at his companion, who nods back. He turns to you again, his knuckles whitening against the shaft of his spear. Always too cozy with the Ethramoran. Go then and mind your step around the stake of the stones. I just want to see if the wolf or fox. Yeah, the fox and animals get big heads. I think the pets even do as well. Alright, that's enough of that. There we go. Right, onwards. Where am I supposed to be going? Elm's Reach. I'm contemplating buying this game. It's like Pathfinder Kingmaker games. Is it more or less complicated? I'd say it's less complicated than Pathfinder Kingmaker games. So one of the things I will say about this game is in Pathfinder Kingmaker, the quests are and the jobs that you need to do for any one chapter are very clearly delivered to you. You know, somebody will come up and say, oh, I need you to go here. There's not so much of having to talk to everybody. In general, you'll be given a lot of guidance, and most of the people you need to talk to are sort of like one of your companion NPCs. Even if they're not in your party, when you arrive back at town will be sort of like, I need to speak to you about going to see such and such. They've got something that they want us to do. And it's like, oh, okay. So you take them, you go off and do what you want to do. Also, in the map mode, on the kingdom side of things, it will tell you some of the things that you need to be getting on with. One of the things in Pathfinder Kingmaker is it doesn't. There is the kingdom mode where you have to look after your kingdom side of things. In the difficulty settings, you can turn that off entirely, or you can leave it running. If you leave it running and you don't manage it and maintain it very well, it can become very difficult to do that, and you can fail the game. However, conversely, if you don't want to, you can actually turn that off in the difficulty and not have to worry about the kingdom management side of things. Which, if I'm being honest, is probably, if I ever got around to playing Pathfinder Kingmaker again, I would probably play it without the kingdom side management. It doesn't add enough to the game, in my humble opinion. It does add some things, so you might want to look into that. There's, each time that you've established a town and build it up to a certain reputation, a person will come to you and ask, do you want to invest in my business in this town? And that'll give you a short quest line, and then it'll ultimately will accumulate up into a unique reward. It's less complicated than Pathfinder Kingmaker on that front, but it is more complicated in you don't really know. So some of these quests that I've gotten, the Trials of Dunance, is something that I got in the first chapter just after starting the game, because I found Durance, and it says continue to get to know him, but there's other ones. The Long Hunt, travel to the cliffs you saw in the vision. Something to do with Sagni. I have no idea where those cliffs are. I was given this quest fairly early on in the game, and even if I did know where it was, there is a chance that I will go there and it'll be too difficult for me to do. And I've had to do a fair bit of that, of going to a place. There's the Siege of Cragholt. The last time I went to the Siege at Cragholt, I went in, I killed a few people, very difficult fight. I then took 2 steps forward and got into an overwhelming fight and died and had to reload. And it's... at no one point does it ever turn around and say, you don't... This is the line that you want to take. Pathfinder Kingmaker, it's very clean and neat in that all the quests and challenges that you get are for your level group for that particular chapter. So, and you want to be doing just about everything in that chapter before continuing on with the plot, if you want to make the most of it. Because of the way that Pillars of Eternity is laid out, it kind of gets a little bit difficult to know when you're supposed to be doing these things, because nobody's coming up to you and saying, oh, I need your help with this, or I need your help with this. There's no clear answer to where you're supposed to be going and who you're supposed to be talking to. There is probably a good half dozen quests that I have missed because I forgot to speak to somebody and ask them about something. And I'm never going to go back there because at the start of the stream, I went around the one area and tried to cover most of it and ask everybody there everything. But if I've missed a split or missed an NPC, that quest is probably never going to come up because I'm not going to randomly talk to people because there's a lot of people in the game. Less chance of you doing that in Pathfinder Kingmaker. What I will say also is Pathfinder Kingmaker is a long game. Even if you weren't streaming it, even if you were just playing it from start to finish and just doing the main critical path, I think it's something like an 80-hour game. Pillars of Eternity, even if you're not streaming it, if you're just playing the critical path, I think it clocks in at about 40, 60 if you've got the DLCs. So that's another thing to note. But both of them have excellent online communities and support for those things.
All right then.
They're very much solid in a very similar vein, as it were. When far from home, either. I just my group member. Welcome back, Saber. Welcome back. Did you buy any turnips by any chance while you're out of the shops? Two random people, and it's robbing, and I don't want to rob these people. The fire gives off a thick, rich odor of burning peat. That does not sound pleasant. Suppose I could weigh the pile of Starfinder books by getting the weight of one item and then multiplying it by the number of items in the pile. One or two that are oddly sized that I might have to get out and weight, but most of them are books. No, I hate turnips. Instead, I received something from a friend. I mean, just because you hate something doesn't mean that you don't have to buy it from time to time. And I don't know, maybe you're a spiteful soul who enjoys buying things. Just, you know, if you ever just wanted to buy something and then just run it over with a car or throw it into traffic, you could just be like that with turnips. It's like, haha, turnip, I have you now. I hate you. I despise you. Into the canal you go. Well, I guess I prefer more complicated story and quests, so I'll stick with complicated combat and watching a wild owlbears with mirror image. Yeah, as for plot and quests, I think they're very comparable in the terms of quality. The writing in both has been fairly enjoyable. Mechanically, they're very similar. You've got more options when it comes to Pathfinder Kingmaker. You know, just the class list. Yes, but I wouldn't waste money on something I hate simply to throw it into the commentary canal. I mean, what you choose to do with your turnips is up to you.
Ain't that special?
Starlit garb. This somber set of robes is flecked with bright shimmering points of white in imitation of a starry night. It was commissioned by an aging scholar whose love for astronomy and failing eyesight pressed her to request a set of enchanted garb which would allow her to pursue her studies for years to come. Yoink. There's something up there that I can't actually click on because it's... hidden away. I think I've just picked up junk and stuffed it into two people's pockets. If I'm gonna throw my money away, I'll go to the pub and buy a pint. I mean, you can despise pints as much as anything else. I think it was the Lamesh 2's Womb mission that was the worst, but other than that, I really enjoyed the game. Yeah, I enjoyed Pathfinder Kingmaker. It was a little bit long for my liking, and you can definitely tell a little bit. So, the Pathfinder Kingmaker adventure path was originally written by Paizo and is 6 books long. In Pathfinder Kingmaker, the video game, it's expanded out by 2 parts of the game, and you can distinctly tell where it's gone from fairly well balanced and meaningful story of the adventure path to something that Owlcat Studios has brought in to sort of like pad out the game's length. It's just one of them things that I kind of noticed. I don't want to go to Old Song. But yeah, I mean, Pillars of Eternity is pretty good. It's good enough as long as you're willing to put up with the fact that you will go to some areas and you will just get your ass handed to you. You have to reload and come back to it at another point. don't know. See, Ovate could be a name, but they're both named Ovate. So I'm guessing that Ovate's guard and Ovates are just people around here? I don't know.
Many blessings, traveler.
Many blessings to you too. And the elf holds up a chipped wooden pipe. Sweet smoke wafting from the bowl makes you feel dizzy. Greetings, Estromar. I've gathered herbs and potions for sale, looking for something to ease your travels, or something to make them more interesting. When she grins, you see her teeth and gums are stained brown. White leaf, nice way to spend the afternoon, and the following night, and most of the next day. I'd like to see your stocks. I can get a tiny spalling pet. Why the smeg not? Just gonna put them in the box anyway. Golden leaves flash and shine as they fall from the trees.
Hey. Builder's wisdom to you.
Through his though his eyes are closed and his posture still, the man before you keeps his head aimed at you, as if carefully following your movements. Hail to you! May your time in the Golden Grove be enriching. If you are in need of services, he says, his eyes still closed, speak with Belha. She will see to your concerns. What can you tell me of the Golden Grove? We are naturalists, philosophers, herbalists, and teachers. The Ovates of the Golden Grove know that true vision comes from the study of natural order. We endeavor to teach others to explore the world for themselves. Farewell.
All right, then.
Golden leaves flash and shine as they fall from the trees. I think it was the Lamesh 2's mission. That was I've already done that. If you want to know what I got, to look at the Cabra Spa channel. I mean, it's probably a Cabra Bara, I'd guess. Probably a plushie. And it will be styled with a flannel on its head. Things.
You have stayed true to our cause, Inquisitor, when so many others have not. For every heretic we confess, for every betrayer that burns on our pyres, new sheep continue to flock to Iavara ex Incios.
Nobody say anything for a moment.
You. I underestimated you in the beginning, but no longer.
I'm guessing it was yes to the Kababara, but no Tal. So I just had to change it over from my stream to my stream manager because I wanted to look at something. What am I thinking? So yes, sorry if I did miss a message. Please repeat it. You honor me, Grand Inquisitor.
It is not for honor that I summoned you today, but for duty. Too many of our own have confessed upon the wheel and the rack and the flame. Too many of our faithful have had their minds poisoned by the Kratom witch. The tide is against us now. We have but one option. Iavara's following must see her exposed for what she is. She must confess her heresy before my court.
How would we reach her?
Not in Kratom, surely. Their lord has embraced her heathen faith and protects her with his army. But in Oceanus, things would be different. The king of Oceanus is a sinful man. We have helped him to see the error of his ways, and now he fears for his soul. He would pay any price for absolution.
But how will we get Iavara to move to Oceanus?
You told me once that you had never met Iavara. Now you will tell me the truth.
Theos stares into your eyes. He seems never to blink. A rush of panic spreads through your body, and you can feel the sweat beginning to seep through your skin. You want to be anywhere else, but there is no escaping his gaze. I was in love with her.
I see. And did she return the sentiment?
Yes.
I trust that you will snuff out this flame if it still burns. The gods do not take pity on traitors. You are wise to be forthcoming with me. I am willing to forget your prior lapse in memory. You have already done much for the Inquisition. I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
The way to the clear waters taste sweet and refreshing. I love the way it's like click to examine it and just drink it. Just drink your fill. It could be so like the water is poisonous and dangerous. You know because you drank it, and it's like, well, shit, I'm dead now, aren't I? Let's finish this side of the bridge. Just a lot of tame Stelgar. Bong. The heart still smells of freshly cooked game. Grease splatters the blackened bricks. The table is scarred and stained from years of use.
Tread carefully, Estermore.
The grizzled old elf, his hair braided and dyed, stands at one end of the hall. His arms and chest are cross-hatched, with a pale seams of scars. His crooked smile looks for another, his crooked smile looks like another. There's not many Estromar who are permitted into our sacred city. Belwith must be feeling especially soft today. Ida pays no attention to the elf, but instead locks his eyes with the Stelgar in front of him. He whispers to you, do you think he'd mind if I pet his Stelgar? I skipped a bit. Sagni lowers her head. Remember how well that worked out for last time? Come to hear your future at Tir Ivron. His smile widens, exposing a row of yellow, crooked teeth. Or to make your own at Bloodstands. And what's Bloodstands? An ancient place of sacrifice, his fingers laced together, in the cave by the great elms themselves. Reston and his druids have been an integral part in Glenfarth's society for generations, no matter what some of the other tribes may say. Glenfarth has held its own against the Estromar because it still understands the power of sacrifice. He gives you an appraising eye. Does the thought make you uncomfortable? It should. It's what kept our society alive for so long. Simok crosses his arms over his scarred chest. Something else? You don't seem fond of us, Esthermoran. His hunched shoulders straightened. I fought in the broken stone war. I fought in the war of black trees. I saw my brethren cut down defending the places of the builders, and I shed blood alongside Glelvin Regard himself. He coughs. Now the Esthermora seem to think that they will find the cure to their empty children amongst our sacred sites. Or worse, they will find sanctuary in our lands. His gaze darkens. And I've seen what happens when they set their sights on Glenfarthen soil. From what I've seen, their sacred sites might actually have a cure. They protect those sites because someone told them to. Just wish You just wish once they'd have the courage to question it. Then you must fight back. Give them a reason to stay away. He smiles slowly. You understand me well. Maybe you were a three-tusked Stelgar in another life. Your ferocity is unusual among Estromoran. Perhaps you can appreciate my predicament. In my 250 years, I have led my people through 2 wars. Our borders have remained intact and largely through the reputation of the three-tusked Stelgar. His voice drops to a growl. I have sired a dozen children, and none of them deem fit to take my place. I care nothing for legacies, but obsessed with Estromoran lords, but it is important that my successor continue this path. If your own children don't succeed you, what happens? Ordinarily, a Rowan would turn to others in my tribe, to clan heads and their families. Ordinarily. But we share a tradition of fostering our children from other tribes, and the Amathaf of Fisher Crane have trusted their youngest to my care. And as none of my own blood are fit to take my place, the Rowan will look next to this bog child, a kin of the Amathar, and my foster daughter to take my place. I don't see the problem. The Orlands of Fisher Crane have lived in their fine bog for 1,000 years. They are cunning and fugitive by nature, which serves them well when they have their swamplands to hide their movements. He crosses his arms. But this will not deter the Estromoran on open ground. I think you underestimate what a few stealthy archers can do. He points at the warriors gathered near the fire. Our savagery has deterred the Estromoran from future encroachment. They still tell of our deeds in the Broken Stone War. But if a child of Fisher Crane leads our tribe, we will lose that boldness, and the Estromoran will lose their fear of us. The child will be influenced by the souls of her ancestors. In times of crisis, she will look to her kin in Fine Blog for guidance. No matter what I try to teach her, it will not be enough. He considers. There is a way you could help. Few have the stomach for it, but I think it would suit someone of your inclinations. Say nothing. This Orlan girl has the soul of a leader. If it were passed to one of my own offspring, our tribe would remain strong. The Stelgar Neostonic scratches its massive head with on the unfathened legs. He remains steady on his feet. The Druids of Bloodsands have a way to do this, and they understand the importance of a strong line of succession for three-tusked Stelgar. Ida rubs the bridge of his nose. He rattles his head as if to clear the cobwebs. So all you have to do is steal a baby's soul. What's the catch? He gives you a key. There is a house in the southeast of Halfsong, next to the river. The child will be asleep. I've arranged for her to be unattended for a time. His voice becomes a quiet rumble. Take her and bring her to the keeper Weirdha in Bloodsands. She knows what must be done. When she has presented you with the liquid essence, bring it back to me. What will the keeper Weirdha do with the child? His scarred face twists again. Have you seen the rituals of Bloodsands? She will sacrifice her. It is the only way to distill her essence. Sagni looks up and down. I could take him. She looks at you. Please, let me take him. I won't do this. I do not relish the deed, but 2 centuries of leadership have taught me all things bear a cost. He nods once. Consider it well less than more. I am not above rewarding those who are of service. Goodbye. Oh wow, it still gives me the quest even though I declined it. The young man approaches you with a swift and purposeful stride. While you've never met him before, he has the same stern, wild look as Sinnock. He doesn't speak until you are right next to him. When he does, his voice is quiet. Wait. I saw you speaking with my father. What's this about? He glances back at the room with Sinnock. He asked you to sacrifice Vela, hasn't he? He grits his teeth. Maybe he's right about 3 tusk Stelgar growing weak, but if this is the price for strength, it isn't worth it. The tribes have survived this long because we've stuck together. Sagni does a double take. Kid, are you sure that old elf's your father? I would never hurt the child. He sighs. You did not seem like one who would, but my father will find someone who will. He doesn't give up on an idea easily. He sighs again. But there may be a way to stop him. He frowns. This guy is just full of expression, sighing and frowning. There is a herbalist among the Oviates of Golden Grove. Bellad, that's her name. They all gather southeast of here by the river. She could brew a poison. Simok wouldn't know the difference until it's too late. There's a family resemblance. Let me guess, if Simok dies, you're next in line? It's not like that. The Rowan have already determined that my soul isn't strong enough. Whoever follows my father, it won't be me. There's an easier way to kill Simok, you know? His warriors would surround you in no time. Besides, it's the simplest if things happen quietly. You want me to murder your father? No, but it's better than allowing him to murder this child. Why not just return this child to her birth parents? It's complicated. A child sent to be fostered by another tribe isn't allowed to return, unfortunately. Explaining that we're shielding her from my father would make matters much worse for both tribes. He tugs a thin braid. Fine, I'll poison your father. With another glance at Simok's chamber, he backs towards the door. Like I said, you'll find Belha in the Golden Grove. Good luck. Well, it's all murder today. Very little in the way of combat. It's dark out there. Let's have a quick save and let's do this one. Shouldn't be that difficult. This is one of them quests where it's like, why did I need to get involved in any of this? She taps ash from her pipe into the grass. Was there anything else I can do for you? I hear that you can make certain poisons. She takes a deep draw on a pipe. Poisons? I only deal in tonics that heal and enlighten. She exhales a puff of smoke. Of course, many beneficial substances can be harmful when taken in great quantities. But that's just where there's a way of keeping all things in balance. Really? What kind of substances? She leans against the winding tree trunk and ticks off items off her fingers. Oh, there's plenty. Concentrated caragora, undistilled spider venom, rotten blood moth extract, cave coral mixed with shacklebone. It's not really giving me any indication because there's XP at the end of it. I mean, it's one of them. I much prefer a narrative game where it kind of makes sense. I'm going to do it because there's XP at the end of the road. But it's one of them where it's like, why did I have to get involved in any of this? Why can't you just take care of your own business? You know, killing each other? See, they've given me 4 options and I don't know which one I'm supposed to choose. Do you have any rotten blood moss extract? She stops counting and scratches her head. That's a strange thing to want, but I suppose it's stranger still that I have some. What would you want with it? I just thought I'd experiment with it and see what happens. Well, my friend's Stelgar is dying and he wants to ease a creature's passing. She frowns, her teeth clamped around the pipe. Poor thing. Here, take this. She gives you a vial with a dark fluid. It works slowly, but it will send him back to the cycle kindly enough. Just see to it that it doesn't get misplaced. Half a dose of that would kill an Araman. She taps the ash from the grass. Was there anything else I can do for you? Goodbye. Now I just need to trick him to drinking the poison. Let's start a riot, shall we? Here's a poison you asked for. Potion you asked for. He looks at the vial in your hand, but he looks from the vial in your hand back to you. Something's wrong. He narrows his eyes. What are you trying to give me? You're being paranoid because you're nervous about the deed. It's natural. He reaches out with a hand gnarled by age and battle. He clutches the vial close to one faded blue eye, to my tribe's salvation. He drains the vial in one long gulp. He swallows, and after spluttering for several seconds, he glares at you. His breathing sounds ragged and wet. You poisoned me. He begins to raise his hand as his warrior to the warriors in the other room. I didn't, I swear. He rushes at you with a cry of rage. I'm not entirely sure whether this was a good idea or not. That doesn't really feel like tricking them. I mean, it was a little bit of a trick, but it's also like, ah, right, now I've tricked you. I'm going to have to murder everybody in this room.
Of course.
This seems like a very bad idea. That was poison. He rushes at you with a cry of rage. This is a terrible idea. The way it's like, oh yeah, now we're adding these things to your thing. Let's survive this combat first, shall we? You are not looking too healthy. Where are you? You're getting murdered. Everybody just murder. Do it better. I don't know if that's the way that I'm supposed to do that quest. Or if I am, then
Of course.
I need to be much higher level to survive that combat. Although I keep saying, you know, it's like much higher level. It's like I think I can only be like 4 more levels higher than I am, and then I reach the cap for the game. Excuse me. Two identical women seem to fade into view as they move away from the great trees that camouflage them. Their skin is tree bark, rigid and scaly, wreathed in the curling tangle of roots, buds, and blooms. Their hair hangs beneath the shade of serrated leaves, like the drooping branches of the elms above, and the pupils of their eyes are encircled by hundreds or even thousands of concentric rings, as if to mark the accumulated wisdom of millennia.
Turn around, flesh creature. Outsiders are not permitted to approach the elms.
One of them extends a snarl of roots towards you as, that snakes and twists together to form something like an open hand, palm down. The other stares at you unblinking, and her frown deepens. And as her frown deepens, her face creaks. Do you not feel it, sister? Something familiar. An ancient soul, like the other one. Another defiler, no doubt. Let us fell her and be troubled no more. I will pay the debt of her predecessor.
So it would seem, Rhiannon. But we must not hasten to judgment. I see a different motive here. Different questions in these eyes.
What of it, young trespasser? Is it as my sister says? Or are you here to stain this place with foul deeds?
I seek a man who came through here. It sounds as though you have already met him. There, by her own admission, Sidha.
Really, sister? And you wonder why your leaves begin to fall out before midsummer. Clearly that man did not want to be followed. Whatever the relationship here, I suspect it is anything but cordial. The answer is yes, old one. We crossed paths with Theos not long ago, and we can tell you where he went. But I find it curious that anyone would seek him out. Suspicious, even. If we are to help you find him, we would know why.
Stopping him might end Waydwin's legacy. Or he must face justice for his transgressions. Waydwin perks up. I like her better now, Sidha.
Indeed. A kindred spirit, it seems. But that's what this is really about, isn't it? You are tied to him.
Cinder glances you over and her expression changes, as though seeing you for the first time.
I see it now. You are awakened. Your soul is awake, and something once buried deep now wells to the surface. Past overwhelms present, closes in around you. Your time has nearly reached its end.
I just need to get to Theos.
I am sorry to tell you this, but Theos cannot give you what you seek. Nor can any man. An awakening cannot be undone, any more than your past can be undone.
What's she mean? I thought Maelwind said... Sagni's gaze flickers you. I'm sorry. To be chained to such a past. Her face is pale, her eyes hollow. A bitter and grievous thing, what you... So this has all been for nothing, and I'm going to lose my mind?
The soul is formless without a past to shape it. Did you truly expect to be able to wipe it away?
I'd rather have tried to put things right. A noble thought, but for a lifetime that separates you from your problems.
However, as much as my sister speaks truly that there is no way back from an awakening, there may yet be a way forward. Would you agree, Shiva?
I would. Were the way not so likely to end in death.
And death may be preferable to what lies in store for me.
It may, but not all deaths are alike, and the man you pursue is versed in thousands of them.
A little bit of mindfulness helps you understand the world better. It's one of them things where it's like very rapidly you get to see all the bubbling toil and rolling turmoil that is the past.
The man Theos you must already know by now. You are linked by a common past. Something about it lingers within you, festering, unresolved. What it is I cannot see any more than you. And without that knowledge, your doom is certain. But were you to learn the source of this discord, perhaps it could be put to rest. Though it is equally possible it will trouble you as much now as it did then, and merely speed your condition to its end.
My past comes to me in pieces. How do I unlock the rest?
You might wait for it to come on its own, of course. But when it comes, it will replace your sanity's last breath. Such is the nature of your condition.
Or you could learn it from someone who already knows.
The Theos. Would he remember?
It is said the gods made his memory perfect, that he may never forget his charge. If he ever knew, he still does.
Now there's a rough punishment.
Not that he would tell you, of course.
You have followed the right person for the wrong reason, it seems. We see it often beneath the elms. The soul dragging mind and body to unknown places for unfathomable reasons. You may have wandered into Theos' path many times, in many lifetimes, without an awakening to show you why.
The only thing that's certain is you did not find what you sought.
You said you know where he went.
He has gone down beneath the tower to a place older than we, where the people of Engwith once walked. He makes his way to the buried city, Sun and Shadow.
May he stay down there and rot with the remains of his people.
He may yet. He won't be returning the way he came, that much is certain. He opened a secret path in the tower's base, and saw it destroyed behind him through some vile means.
Is there another way to get to him?
We know of one. On the burial isle, through the court of the penitents, Braeth Yaman. A shortcut, in fact.
Don't be cruel, sister. The way my sister speaks of is not for the faint of heart. A great pit at the center of a forgotten court, where faiths were judged in place of crimes. To most, it is simply a gateway to death. With the help of the gods, it can take you where you want to go.
What do you mean, with the help of gods?
The pit is said to have been a means of judgment by the gods. Those cast into it are meant to die. It is that way you must pass to reach Sun and Shadow. The court is old. We do not know much for certain, but it would seem only the gods themselves can grant passage.
What is this called?
No more than a ruin now. It is older than we, a place for the trial of heretics. We were not here to witness it, but at one time there was a group that refused to acknowledge the gods. Neither the first nor the last, of course, but these were numerous and all put on trial for it. Those who did not repent were cast into the pit and imprisoned below. The fall killed them, of course. The prison was not for people, but for their souls, and their sentences were eternal. It is said that many of the condemned repented and were permitted by the gods to ascend from the pit, so long as they pledged their service to one of them. But these are old legends.
How would I ever get a gods to help me?
Behind us is Ter Evron, said to pierce the shroud itself and a place of communion with all gods. If ever there was a time for prayer, you have found it.
So the only way to get through the pit is to pray for help?
Not the only way. Just the only one that doesn't end with your body impaled on jagged rocks.
Who would I pray to? Any god you can think. Any god you can, I should think.
I would pray first to those gods you like best. I hope for your sake the feeling is shared.
Is there no other way?
None.
How do I pray?
Ter Evron is also called the Hall of Stars, and the stars show us the allegiances of the gods. When stars are in conjunction, we know the gods they represent are aligned as well. You should choose a place to pray where you'll be closest to those you want to hear you. If a god stands alone, you should pray to that god. If they band together, you should address them all. Choose your words wisely, for all gods expect proper homage, and none has patience for fools.
I have other questions.
What do you wish to know?
How did you know I was pursuing
The
Theos?
same way that you are no doubt able to peer into the ether and experience the souls of others. It is something we are born with, some more, some less. A gift common to many creatures of the wilds. You share certain similarities with the man you pursue. For your sake, I pray they are few and of no consequence.
You mentioned that people come to the Elms without knowing why. A soul has a will of its own. It needs some whims are seldom understood. But they follow them all the same.
There is something about this place that reaches beyond our understanding, something like a beacon. The Elms have a way of uniting souls that have been seeking one another, with or without their owner's awareness. Sometimes it is for love, sometimes for vengeance, sometimes for peace. Often it is for no reason we will ever know. In your case, let us hope it is for peace.
Or vengeance.
I want to know about the two of you.
There is little to be said about us, for we are bound here, caretakers and defenders of this place. Our journey has been over time, but not distance, measured in observations, but not experiences. We have seen the elms grow tall. We have seen cities built, burned, and built again. The only constant has been the tower, a silent companion through the ages. You can imagine why this recent destruction has stirred my sister so.
If you do nothing else, make that man pay for what he did here.
I need to know about praying for support of the gods.
We will tell you what we can.
Oh, already been through that.
Before
Farewell.
you go, tell me this, old one. I'm curious. If you were to subdue your enemy, what would you do with him? What would give you peace?
I wish to undo the harm he's caused.
You would need to have twice as many lifetimes as he to repair his savage work.
But perhaps there are strides you can make.
All the same, think on this matter. Be assured in your course. In the end, it may mean all the difference, not just to his soul, but to yours. And be warned. Some questions have answers that can never be learned. And it is those that trouble the soul above all others. May you find an answer to yours.
The Council of Stars and the Court of the Penitents. I think I'm going to leave it there for this session. I get the sneaking suspicion that I'm getting close to the end of this game. But I don't know. I am doing. And as I suspect, once you jump into that pit, there's very little chance of getting out. I just wanted to know the main quest line titles, basically. So yes, it's one of them where it's like, I could press on with this. But I don't think it's going to take that long. You know, I gotta pray to a god, and it's like, hey, God, give me a favor, and one of them will say, sure, why not? And then I jump into the pit, and it's pretty much headlong towards Theos. Knowing that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because it's one of them where it's like, a lot of the side questy stuff that I've got left going on, all of them just seem annoying. You know, it's not that I don't think they're all impossible. I think it's just most of what I've got left going on are likely to be very save, reload to get through the combat. Maybe if I go and deal with the White March Part 2. You've often talked about how much you want to extend this game's playtime. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's all like, J-Station is being sarcastic there. For those of you who don't know J-Station. It's one of them. I do want to get to the end of the White March, so I might go off and do that, and then the rest of the quests, maybe give them another look-see and see what I can do about resolving them. I do kind of want to do the White March Part 2. Because I've done the White March Part 1, and I'm kind of curious as to what... You know, to be entirely honest with you, when I say this sort of like to everybody, not just to J-Station, I liked the White March Part 1 because it was very succinct and to the point. You know, I didn't have to think, oh, can I do this quest? Can I not do this quest? And the rest of it, because it was all nicely encapsulated in one area. I got there, and yes, initially it was a little bit difficult, so I went off and went somewhere else. But then I came back to that area, and it was a little bit easier to just go through the rest of it. Because it's basically part 1 of the DLC. Now, part 2 of the DLC, I'm hoping that I will like just the same as part 1 of the DLC. That's also going to raise me up in level. That may mean that some of the other stuff that I've had to skip over for now will be much easier to do. It's not the game that's annoying me, it's the mechanics of I don't know where I'm supposed to be going, what I'm supposed to be doing for a lot of the side questing. I want to do the side questing, but I don't know the right order to do the side questing because the game's giving me no hints whatsoever. And on some of the fights, you know, the combat is very swingy. Either I'm over-leveled and I just walk through it all. I'm of the right level, but it can be just very much roll of dice. If they cast a paralyze on everybody, if everybody saves, then combat is easy because nobody's stood around doing nothing. If half of them save, then those 3 will be dead, and if I've over-leveled enough, the 3 that saved will be able to win through the fight. If nobody saves, it doesn't matter how high of a level I am, they will all just die. And that is the element of the combat that I don't really appreciate and like. Which is why it's been going around in circles a bit. Of sort of like, I'll try and do this. No, that didn't work out. I'll try and do this. No, that didn't work out. When it came to the White March, a lot of it was sort of like easy, or easy enough. So when it did come to a challenging fight, I didn't think I'm in the wrong place. I thought that, the rolls were unlucky. I didn't think about it. I didn't take it slowly enough, and I bit off more than I could chew in one go. And the same will apply, I hope, to White March Part 2. With the rest of the world, it's very difficult to know whether I'm under-leveled or whether I'm using the wrong tactic. And I'd like to know and figure that out. So we'll have to see. It might come to Thursday where it's like, pray to the god, jump in the pit, end the game. And maybe just have to turn the difficulty down if I'm far too under-leveled. Part of me just wants to do that so that I can move on to other games. Because that's an option. Yeah, that's the other thing that I might need to do, is get my next game prepped. I already know what I'll be playing. But at the same token, don't know if I've got it installed at the moment, and it's a rather large game, but I'll get that going shortly. And what's it, flibbity flop, words are difficult. Yeah, get it prepped so that, if I do it and did on Thursday, then I can just jump into the next game on Tuesday. At the moment, I'm playing Pillars of Eternity. This has been session 27. I have been and will continue to be Kyron Rossmore. You can usually find me here on my channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. UK time, playing more Pillars of Eternity until that one's over. And the next game in line for Tuesdays and Thursdays is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Then you can also see me here on Fridays at 9 p.m. UK time. Oh, some weeks I'm actually over on it's Mike_UK's channel, where we are playing through MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. So if I'm not here on a Thursday, I'll be over there. Give them a follow, check them out. Well worth checking out the content they make. On the Fridays, I'm streaming here. It's currently playing through Bioshock. That will be leading into something, not decided what yet, but got another 2, maybe 3 weeks of Bioshock left. On the Fridays, I am joined by MyCat_UK and JStation64, who playing poorly through MechWarrior 5. Yeah, well, we're doing alright. We've not gone broke, at least. They join me to keep me company as I play through kind of scary games on the Fridays at 9 p.m. Currently playing Bioshock. I've already said all of that. And at the moment, you can find me along with JStation64 and other members of the posse, as JStation64 has finished Red Dead Redemption and has moved on to playing Red Dead Online. And I'll be joining them on Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Yes, you heard that right, a.m. folks. I do have to get up before midday on a Saturday. But it's a lot of fun riding around the Old West with JStation64 and other members of the posse. I feel that other members of the posse are probably going to be drifting in and out a little bit more as they've got other commitments. We will be joined by Control-Alt-Scream, I believe they're called. JStation will correct me if I'm wrong. Nope. Control... What are they? There we go. Alt-Control-Scream. Control Alt Scream, Control Scream, same difference. It's not. They play games on the Twitch. Go check them out. They stream a variety of games. But that's who was in the posse last week. If you're interested in joining the posse, then first of all, you need to be friendly enough in our Discord and hang around on the streams. And JStation64 might consider you to be a member of the posse. You can find us over on the Discord, where it's a Discord server set up by me and fellow streamers JStation64, RetroTed, and Krifu Banal, where we talk about all things geekery and a lot of food. There's a lot of food chatter going on at the moment. So that's the thing. But yeah, you get notification there of when I go live, when they go live, and just consider these things. Sorry, my brain has started to fade very much. Yeah, there was a lengthy application process. Let's see who makes it past the 4th stage interview. Yeah, it was an absolute terrible time for me. I think I got through by the skin of my teeth, and also the fact that, you know, I am able to get up for 9:30 in the mornings, but that has been a lengthy process of being there most weeks. There's been one or two where I've overslept and missed the first like half hour of these streams, but I think he forgives me for that. But yeah, so that's where you can find me and a lot of the community, where we all hang out and have fun. Rating, are we going to go rating anywhere? Let's click that button before I accidentally deafen you all with listening to somebody on Twitch scream about something. Is there anybody online that I want to raid? There is not anybody online, and I don't feel like trying to find somebody at the moment. So we are just going to call it here this evening. Thank you for joining me. Can you hijack a train? Can you ride a horse? Can you avoid wildlife? Is the answer to any? If the answer to any of these is yes, then you have no place in our posse. Yeah, we don't do any of those very well. We can hijack trains, but it's not. Yeah, it's one of them things where it's like, I'm mildly disappointed with Red Dead Online and hijacking trains. There doesn't seem to be many people to rob. But anyway, right, okay, I am gonna call it there because I need to get another coffee. I hope you all have a good time zone wherever you are, and I hope to see you all next time. Until then, taddy bye. I'll just click through all of the screens. Here's the introduction again. That's what I said. Whee!